CardGamesTV1 Podcast. Well, it's been a while since I talked about card games, and currently I'm playing a new card game, Hero Academia. So me and my friend, we are checking out the My Hero Academia card game. So far it's pretty fun, really interesting in how it plays out. I've already mastered a lot of the other card games that I play, including Dragon Ball Super. And I will be talking about a little bit about Dragon Ball Super. I have uploaded like 3 deck profiles, 4. One's the Zamasu deck profile, 2 Hachiyak, and now the 1 Bulma. So 4 deck profiles in the past couple of days. Just because I, updating my decks, trying to improve them. Plus there's a couple new cards that I want to play around with. So, and since I did upgrade the decks, and I, obviously I gotta share the list, right? I gotta share the deck profile of the decks that I'm using for those who, care and want to see what my decks look like now. And eventually I'll try to do some gameplay. I'll probably try to do some this weekend. We'll see. I tend to be busy, but we'll see if I can get some gameplays this week. I still, obviously want to be able to go to tournaments and stuff. My work schedule has changed, so there's a higher chance that I'll be able to start going to tournaments, or at least be able to do online tournaments. So we'll see how that works out. I obviously look up the information for it of, what online tournaments and what real life tournaments are available. I've only been to 2 so far for Dragon Ball Super, so at least I started. I just gotta keep trying, right? Keep going. And let's see. Like I said, the Hero Academia card game is what I'm currently playing right now. Obviously I gotta do deck profiles where I'm still trying to learn the rules of the game, so that way I can better build a deck. It's hard to build a deck when you don't really know how to play the game itself. So once I get that squared away, once I confirm, because there's a lot of effects and a lot of stuff to learn in the game, so try to figure out what all the cards do, what all the keywords do, and then I already found some of my favorite keywords that I want to use and build decks with. I'm always trying to break the mode, as it were, always trying to break the rules of the game, and always trying to find ways to play the game different than everybody else. So I'm looking to try to play the game with less, well, since the things that deal damage are the attacks, obviously the idea is to play less foundations and more attacks. Or the other way I will go is where I play more foundations, less attacks. But the idea is the foundation, the attacks will be reusable, so I can use them over and over and over again. So find some creative way of using them over and over and over again, so I can have a strategy. I'm always trying to be creative. We're trying to find a way to do something. So basically, being able to attack from my momentum is something that's in this game. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of like fighting. It's kind of like attacking from your life, like in Dragon Ball Super. Imagine attacking from your life, so you're dealing damage from your life. So that's the way I look at momentum. So something like that. But anyway, Dragon Ball Super, right? Like I said, made some deck profiles. They're mostly burn, except for the Zamasu and the blue Hachiyak deck. Those, the blue Give me a second. That's the blue burn. I know it definitely mills. It rejuvenates, so you win in time. That's technically burn. Anyway, but definitely the red hatchback deck definitely burns. That's a burn deck. The Boma burns. The Zamasu deck, that's turning tide for game, but you can mill your opponent and checking to see if there's anything else in there. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Yes, there's winning in time, because rejuvenation is in there obviously, so life gaining. So there's that. I am working on my Gohan burn deck, or my burn Han deck. So currently working on that. We'll see what other decks. I definitely should look at the newer leaders, see if there's any newer leaders worth building a deck with. Because right now, like Boma, Hatchback, Gohan, Cell, what's his name? Sin Shenron. The yellow Shenron, the one where you pay 6, bring all your Shadow Dragons back onto the field. I still have those. I have a cooler deck, but I haven't used that in years. I have a Super Saiyan 3 Goku deck that I also haven't used in years. Ironically, that's my original deck. That's like how I started. It was started cool originally, obviously, and then it evolved over time. It kept changing the leader. And then Super Saiyan 3 Goku came out, so I was using that, but then it got banned, so I stopped using it. I think I started using Goku Black after that, and then eventually went back to Starter Ku, the upgraded one, of course. And then when it came out with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the remake version, reborn version, right? Then I currently use that one. So that was like my main deck, like how I started off playing the game, and then I branched off into the other decks. Of course, Hatchback is Hatchback, and I've just been rocking Hatchback ever since. Boma ever since. Gohan. That's my aggro deck. There's gameplays on the channel, on Card Games TV channel on YouTube, where you can watch gameplays, obviously, of that stuff, the old gameplays. And I try to make Dr. Yudo, Beerus, any deck where there's an automatic win con. Obviously, I try to build decks for that. There's a Zamasu Goku Black leader that I try to, that can basically burn your opponent for 4, so that kind of stuff. Pretty much, anything that I can use to reach the goal of winning is, obviously what I'm going to work with and play around with. I try to avoid too many, even though I'm saying too many gimmicky decks. A lot of people will consider my decks to be all gimmicky, like blue Hatchback, red Hatchback, green Hatchback, yellow Hatchback, right? But they work and they have a purpose, and Hatchback is a really universal, very universal platform, very generic platform to work from. I just answered somebody's comments on my video of red burn Hatchback, because they're concerned about the the energy, red and black. And it's like, well, you don't need no black energy at all for any of your black cards in the deck. They can use any energy. And the cards that need red energy, well, you'll charge the red unison, right? You charge the red energy, and there you go. Now you have the red energy for the unisons, and you play the unisons, and you do what they do. And it's, pretty simple, straightforward. I try to make decks not too complicated. I try to make them simple enough, not just for me, because I prefer, you know, things to be simple. Do really cool, amazing stuff, but it's real simple because the goal is to win, and the easier it is to win, the better, obviously. So I try to make things easier. So even if somebody else uses my deck, it should, to a certain degree, be easy for them to use my deck and get, you know, results. But sometimes it looks like some people can't, or, you know, usually it's not the. Well, we know it's not my decks. It's usually the person that, you know, doesn't make the best decisions. This is why I always mention the idea that I have a play style. Like, there's a way that I play. There's a way I think when I play. You know, there's a certain goal. Like, a lot of people back in the day would try to attack battle cards with their battle cards, so that way their opponent doesn't have the battle card to attack them. So they would try to reduce how many battle cards or how many attacks their opponent will have next turn. Not a bad strategy. It just, to me, that's a waste of my attacks, just so I can try to slow down my opponent from attacking. So instead of me dealing damage, I'm too busy trying to slow down my opponent's ability to deal damage. When mathematically, as long as I deal 1 damage more than my opponent every turn, I will kill them before they kill me. You know, mathematically, right? If you add it up. So if my opponent deals me 1 damage and I deal them 2 damage, well, I'm 1 damage ahead. And we only have 8 life in this game, unless you regenerate. I mean rejuvenate, right? So we only have 8 life. So as long as I'm dealing my opponent 1 damage more, so that way, if my opponent hits me 7, but I hit them 8, I win, right? Because of that 1 extra damage. So for every 1 damage they hit me, I deal them 2, then I'm good. That's why, you know, using a double strike, triple strike, you know, stuff like that, they can deal more damage, or dual attack, anything that can deal more damage in a short period of time is the stuff you want to use. Get the damage through real quick, and then worry about, you know, outplaying your opponent. That's the thing. It's like too many people so worried about, you know, trying to outplay their opponent and whatnot, that they allow their opponent to have like 8 life by turn 4. It's like, wait, it's turn 4 and they still have 8 life? At least they should be at 4 life by turn 4. They shouldn't still be at 8. Either their defense was really good, or you just allowed that to happen and your offense was shitty. So shit, because on average for me, what, depending on what deck I'm using, by like, well, if I'm using my Gohan deck, at least by turn, like my turn 2 or 3, my opponent should be down to like 2 or 1 life, you know. I can output, you know, up to 9 damage in turn 1 if I have the right, you know, combination of cards. I can do about 9 damage. Granted, my opponent's going to try to out combo and try to stop all that, right? So I might get lucky and deal 6 out of the 9 damage, right? Better than nothing. So they'll still have 2 life, but that's the point. It's like, why are you taking so long to do a lot of damage? Like, I'd rather deal the most amount of damage I can the first 2 turns of the game. So if I do 4 or 6 damage in the first 2 turns of the game, great. Then that means from turn 3 until the game is over, all I have to do is deal with my opponent having 2 life, and I just gotta deal the 2 damage. Gotta find some way to bypass their defenses, right? That's where strategy comes in. Because again, dealing the first 6 damage is easy. The first 2 is easy. First 2 damage is easy because your opponent lets you do it. The next 2, you know, requires a little bit of effort. The next 4 requires a little bit of effort, and the last 2 is the hardest, you know, because your opponent's going to try to defend it. But with cards that, you know, take life and stuff, your opponent's already going to activate effects where they take life. Then it gets real easy to get them down to 1 life. All you have to do is just burn them for game. So that's the thing. Like, that's the way I play. You know, straight and simple. So I try to do the most amount of damage, like double strike turn 1, double strike, and a single strike, right? Turn 2, for example. So that way it adds up to like 5 damage in 2 turns, right? Maybe use an effect to burn them for one, so now they're down to 2 life, then it's just a matter of dealing the last 2 damage. So just have a strategy for that. That's all. You just get them down to 2 life, right, or 1, if you can do it, and then have a strategy. Have a card or cards in your deck that's like, I play this, I win. Simple. That's the whole point, is to have a win con, to have a strategy that adds up. So everything you do adds up to that one play, that one scenario. But too many people keep trying to do like 1-turn kills and stuff. Hey, if you could do it, great. But it's like a lot of people have like that mindset, like 1-turn, turn 1 kill, 1-turn kill. But if it fails, then they have nothing after that. It's like, I don't know, try to have a strategy that lasts long. Plus, every deck you can use this strategy. Do 6 damage, right, and then try to finish them off. You can win by going tall. You can win by going wide. It's just understanding the situation that you're in that determines which way you're gonna go. Which way is better, going tall or going wide? Because the main point is to deal those last 2 damage. You got to get that double strike right in there. So you got to bypass their hand, right? Their super combos, their regular combo power, their negates, their free negates, right? If they have blockers, you got to get past them. The list goes on. So what else? Of course, I saw that there's a new game. Card fight, not correct what I'm saying, Dragon Ball Super Fusion World, and the one we're currently playing is Masters, so I have to relabel my deck profiles to make it obvious what the deck profile is for which version of the game. I looked into Fusion World, pretty much just like how Dragon Ball Super was when it first started, so we'll see. The numbers are bigger, and that's about it, but the basic layout and game plan, game style is pretty much the same. I'm probably still not going to use super combos, but it depends on how they built the game. If they build it in such a way where it's like, I have no choice but to play super combos, so be it. Unfortunately for me, in Dragon Ball Super Masters, super combos are not really needed, so I don't really use them like that, or at all. So then, we'll see what else they added to the game, because I think they just recently added field cards, so that's a thing. So they had leaders, battle cards, and extra cards, and now they got field cards. So we'll see if they'll add Z cards, maybe unisons, right? See how that works out. So I truly believe that this new game is just basically a reboot of Dragon Ball Super Masters, right? And it's just gonna, over time, it's just gonna power creep, just like this Dragon Ball Masters, because it's like, people are going to get bored. The only reason why the game Masters version, right, is the way it is now is because people wanted new things. People wanted more things. People were bored playing the old way. Because I remember me and my friend talking about it, pointing out like how people used to wait until turn 5. Both players would just charge energy until they got 5 energy each, and then they start attacking. So they both wait 5 turns before they even start playing the game. It's interesting, of an idea for people to deliberately choose, as the best way to describe it, as a gentleman's agreement, as it were, right? To agree, like, yeah, we're not going to attack each other until we both have 5 energy. It's like, once we get to our 5th turn, that's when we'll start swinging. It's like, okay, interesting idea. But that doesn't work for me and my friends. Me and my friend, we just immediately slugfest. As soon as turn 1, we just start swinging. But we've experimented. We tried, holding back. We tried, obviously just attacking every turn. So we tried different stuff. We tried awakening before our opponent, awakening after our opponent. We tried a lot. And then, of course, I continue experimenting and trying out different things. And that's how I learned and mastered the game, and understanding. It's like, okay, it's always better to awaken second. Save it as a trump card, save it as a, depending on how your leader works, if it's a draw 2 or a untap 2 or draw 1 untap, however way your leader awakens, what it does when it awakens, it determines how you want to use it. If it's a draw 2 type of leader, when you awaken, it is best to use it defensively, because drawing those 2 cards can, potentially, save your life, right? Especially if you're going up against a hand control deck, waiting until your opponent, what's his name, drops, 7-drop Perfect Force Cell, or drops, what's his name, Android 17 turn the tides on you, waiting, letting them drop that, let the effect resolve, and then awaken so you can draw 2, and have 2 cards to defend yourself. Like, that's a good strategy. You know what I mean? You don't have to do anything to your deck. You don't have to side deck something to help you counter or fight against, Perfect Force Cell or Android 17 turn the tides. You could just use your leader strategically, creatively, right? Be creative. Be creative with your leader, right? That's where skill and experience and knowledge comes in, which trumps actual physical cards. I literally made a masterclass video about that, about how you use your cards. Actually creates a card, so to speak. Like, create a card through how you play cards, right? So like I said, with the leader, if you use the leader that draws 2 cards when you awaken at the right time, it's almost like a counter. It's almost like a, you don't have to use an actual physical card to outside of the game and bring it into the game to try to help you in the situation. It's just how you play, how you use what you do have to the fullest, right? Most people don't know how to use what they have to their fullest. People literally have smartphones and don't use it to get smarter. People have smartphones, don't use it to make money. Like, people have smartphones and don't use it to make their life better. They're out here like, oh, life is hard, I don't know what to do. And yet they have a smartphone with the internet. It's like, are you kidding me? You can go on the internet first off, right? And look for information to make your life better. Whatever problems you have, Google it. It's that simple, literally. But a lot of people don't do that, right? That's why I'm a little surprised, so to speak, that, well, not too surprised once you realize that people don't go on the internet to learn, that a lot of my videos don't get a lot of views when they should, because I put a lot of information and knowledge in there. It's knowledge. It's stuff that will make you a better person, a better player, especially, when it comes, since I'm hosting card game content, right, videos, especially the masterclass, these things will make you better. These are things that make me better. These are the things that make me good at the game, and I'm sharing them so that way you can get better. And if you become better at the game than me, great. The videos serve a purpose. They made someone better than me, which is always a good thing. That's a testament of somebody's. That is the testament of a master, when he can create more masters. It's not enough to just be the only master. If you're capable of creating other masters, that truly shows how great of a master you are. So then that essentially makes you a grandmaster, right? So I have noticed, there's some people who do watch my stuff, which I do appreciate. And, they learn. And I do appreciate when they ask questions, when they're a little confused about something. I have no problem answering the questions, because I want them to know what I know. I want them to understand what I understand. And the thing I noticed that happens a lot is that most people tend to try to correct each other, more of like I'm right, you're wrong type of thing. People arguing who's right, who's wrong. And it's like, in reality, that's not what it's supposed to be about. When you talking and speaking to other people, the idea is to share knowledge. It's so that we all are right. Not that I'm right and y'all wrong or vice versa. No, it's for all of us to be right. So when I talk about, card games like Dragon Ball Super, for example, it's because I want people to have this knowledge and information that will help them just like it helps me. When I figure out something and I notice a pattern, it's like, I notice that the first 2-4 damage is really easy to deal because especially in the first 2 turns of the game, because most people don't want to reduce their hand size in the first 2 turns of the game. If anything, they want to increase their hand size in the first 2 turns of the game. Not only that, because this game has the awaken mechanic, they actually want to awaken, and they want to awaken as soon as possible. So most people play with the mindset of their leader awaken. I always play with the mindset of my leader unawaken, and I do mentally play with the idea of my opponent's leader awaken. Since I'm so used to everybody trying to awaken their leader as soon as possible, that I always see their leader as a 15K leader, while I'm still playing a 10K leader, or 5K if I'm playing Bomo, right? So I'm always saving my awaken for the right moment, the right time. Like I said, wait until my opponent drops Perfect Force Cell or Enter 17 turn tides, and be like, all right, now I'm awaken. Now I'm flip over and draw 2. I'm not gonna waste that and try to do that early just because I want a nice big hand size. For what? Just so I can get turned into tide and look stupid? It's like, damn, I awakened too early. Duh. And that's the thing. Too many people are trying to awaken too early, and that causes them the game. There's some leaders you don't want to awaken, but that's the thing. It's like you can't stop the inevitable, as they say. You can't stop them from eventually awakening. So the sooner they awaken, the better. The sooner you deal with their awakened side, the sooner you overcome it, the better, and the better chances you have of winning. There's no point at all of holding back. Right? There's no point at all of being afraid of what your opponent is, what your opponent can and can't do. The goal is for you to focus on what you can and can't do, and then do what you can do, and hopefully what you do is what causes you to win, because it all adds up. It's the same thing as when like you're cooking something, right? You grab all the ingredients, you measure them out, you mix them, right? You chop them, stir them, whatever. Do what you gotta do when you're cooking, and then when you're done cooking, heating up the food and stuff like that, it should be good. The outcome should be something you can eat and enjoy, right? Your victory. So when you play, that's the point. You build your deck in a way that every turn every turn you're doing what you want to do, not forced to do because your opponent is doing something. No, you're doing what you want to do on turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, so forth and so forth, until you win. And you're supposed to have a strategy, a blueprint. It's the same thing with life. You gotta have a plan. You gotta know what you're gonna do this year. You gotta know what you're gonna do next year. It's all about plan. Instead of randomly going to tournaments, deliberately plan ahead, save money, buy the tickets ahead of time. Whatever you gotta do, just plan ahead. Sometimes I'll build decks before like I'll have ideas for decks. I'm like, oh man, if Bandai ever comes out with certain cards with like certain effects in certain colors, I'll be able to build certain decks. So I'll start getting the core. I'll start getting the cards necessary. Let's say, I don't know. Let's say Dr. Yudo. Let's say they come out with some new cards. They did like 1 or 2 new cards for Dr. Yudo, which was nice, which I'm going to look into, of course. But let's say this year they come out with a couple more. Well, since I already have the leader, I already have a lot of the main deck stuff, like I already have the deck ready to be built. All I would need is just this new stuff that will make it consistent and function and win, right? Well, I already have 90% of the deck. So once I get the remainder of the stuff I need for it to, to be complete, so it can do what I want it to do, then, I'll just get the new stuff that I need, and that's it. And then the deck will be done. Instead of waiting until the support comes out, the deck is now good, and then start trying to collect all the cards, because a lot of the cards are going to become expensive and whatnot. And that's part of the problem. Part of why you shouldn't wait until the new stuff that makes the deck playable or good, comes out. Why you should get the deck now and hold on to it until the time comes to actually play it. The other thing is that depending on when the support comes out, and let's say there's a tournament you want to go to, and you actually going to go, but if you start ordering the cards for the deck, like on TCG Player, for example, or something like that, and it's going to take time, maybe a delay happens, something happens where now you don't get the deck, so now you can't play the deck, so now you have to play another deck at the event. You want to prevent that, right? You want to make sure you already have everything you need right there and then. So you don't want to try to build a deck at last minute, right? You want to make sure you can get everything as soon as possible. That way, all you have to worry about is the added support. Plus, another thing is, you'll be able to play test, you'll be able to get used to the deck before you get those upgrades, right? Before you get those supports. So you already have the experience and knowledge. And what if that deck becomes popular and everybody else starts playing it? Well, at least you have experience and knowledge of the deck because you were playing it before everybody else was. That now, you'll at least have that advantage. So even if you're in the mirror match, at least you have more experience than they do, and that's the important part, is experience. I have a lot of experience because I played a lot of other card games prior to Dragon Ball Super, so I was able to take the knowledge from the other card games and bring it over to this one and then share it. There was a lot of people who did understand that and did realize, the benefit of me bringing knowledge from other card games into this one, which allowed them, to be better at the game, allowed them to, understand the game better because of how very similar this game is to a lot of other games. So that's why I'm able to transfer the knowledge and experience and the stuff we figured out in the other card games and bring it over here, So what else? So that's why it's I do expect more people to appreciate and share my videos and knowledge that I put out there, because it's useful, it works, and it's free. Let me throw that in there. It's free. Shit, I wish I was getting paid for sharing all that awesome knowledge, but no, it's out there for free. A free masterclass. Go watch it. I should be charging for the masterclass. That's some S tier shit right there. That's the kind of stuff that you can use to win tournaments with, make big money, and if there's money prizes at tournaments, that's the type of information you get from the master classes. But oh well, it's free, so enjoy it. Be grateful. What else? What else is there out there? Card game wise, played a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Marvel Snap. But Marvel Snap been changing some stuff, changing the effects of cards left and right. So, pretty much every week. So, it's it gets a little annoying building decks, because the main thing is I want my decks to last long. I would hate it the decks get changed or banned or whatever, to a point where it's like, damn, I spent time and money building a deck, and now it'd be hard for me to use that deck competitively or just even casually. I mean, I could still play it casually, but most people tend to want to follow ban lists and stuff like that, so it'd be hard for me to even play casually with my decks as is. I have decks I haven't used in a long time, in many years, because most people don't want to play against the deck because they want to play by the new rules, and the new rules doesn't allow me to play my old decks. So there's that. So it kind of, you know, sucks a little bit, you know, because the idea is that, you know, it's a game. You know, we mostly play for fun. So for fun, I should be able to play any of my decks as is. I shouldn't have to modify it or whatnot just to play for fun, just for fun. I understand for tournament purposes, you know, there's rules and stuff like that, but just for fun, just for casual play, just for entertainment, I should be able to play whatever the hell I want. But well, you know, this is not a solitaire game. It's not a one-player game. In order for me to play, I need other people, so I gotta make sure the other people want to play. I try to hold back from winning too often, right? Or winning too easily, I should say. You know, I like to win, so I will play to win, but I shouldn't make it. I shouldn't win so easily, because that discourages people. Unfortunately, well, instead of people, you think that you beating somebody really fast, or just beating them at all, would inspire them to improve and get better, and you know, and want to rise to the challenge and you know, improve so they can beat you next time. You know, no. Instead, they get bitter and they're just like, you know, they don't want to play no more, or with me, or they don't like the game no more, or whatever. Right? It's like, damn, you're not doing what makes sense to do, which is you want to get better and improve, because you understand, well, one, it's just a game, so it's not that deep to get mad that you lost. But then on top of that, it's like, since it is a game, you should want to improve and get better at it. But in this day and age, most of the younger generation in this world don't like it when things don't work out the way they want. They don't like losing. And people from my generation and before me, we don't like losing either. But it is part of life. You know, that's how life works. You win some, you lose some. The thing is to learn from your losses, so you can reduce your losses, right? By not making the same mistakes, by doing better next time, improving. That's the point. The thing is, a loss is not really a loss. It's a lesson. Think of it that way. Because me and my friend was just talking about that. It's like, loss is not a loss. It's a lesson. You just learn how not to win. You learn what it takes for you to lose the game. Now, since you know what it takes to lose the game, you should know what it takes to win, which is the opposite of what you did that caused you to lose in the first place. If you misplayed, if you played a card wrong in the wrong order, well, now you learn that was the wrong order. You should not have done that, and don't ever do it again. Always play it the right order, and you should get the results you want, which should be winning. You know, should be common sense. But common sense is not as common as it used to be. What else? Yeah, Z battle cards is really only, well, there's Z extra cards, so that's the thing now. So it's like, you know, there's a lot more of them now. So that's interesting. I'll have to look into them eventually. Yeah, Z extra cards, especially the Z, the black Z extra cards. I think there are some black Z extra cards, and I definitely need to look into that, because there's a potential I could use them in Hatchiac. So obviously I want to look into that. Anything that I can sneak in, you know, anything I can use in Hatchiac, obviously I'm going to look into it. Plus I have a Hatchiac group. Make sure you check it out. Links in the bio, you know, in the description, for CardGamesTV1 webpage, and on there should be a link to the Hatchiac Facebook group. Should just be able to look up Hatchiac Leader Facebook group on Facebook and join. Let's see. I gotta catch up to Dragon Ball Super. I gotta watch some videos here and there so I can catch up to what's going on. You know, I have been watching some videos. I've been watching a lot of old videos, but I have been watching some videos to try to catch up, see what's going on in the current meta. One, just to see if there's any cool new strategy or just any cool new card that might be of interest to me. Like, I want to try that card. There's the thing, you know, I could look at every card in the game that came out recently, and try to figure it out myself. But being able to just watch some videos or listen to a video, listen to somebody talk about, oh, this card's good because of this, that, and the reasons, and like, that sounds like a pretty good card. I should look into that card, and definitely should consider using it for my own, strategy. So, especially promo cards, I have to go look at the promo cards list, because there are some new promos and there's some pretty nice ones. I've seen like 2 so far. I'm like, that looks good. Like, there's a Super Saiyan Broly. It's a 3-drop, but you can play it for 1 energy. It's 15k with critical and servant. So basically, it's a 25k for 1 energy. If you use his active main ability, right? For 1 energy, you can play it as a 25k crit. So that has some potential. I was thinking like, maybe put that in my Gohan deck or Momo deck, because essentially it's a 1 energy 25k blocker with crit, right? And then it has, oh my god, I should consider testing it out. Oh, and then it's a 3-drop. Oh my god, that's so good. Oh my god, I just realized I could use that in Boma. I guess I'm gonna have to make another Boma list using that. And there was like a Gohan, which was pretty decent because he had counterplay, but he already is a blocker with double strike. So that's counterplay or something like that. And you could play him for cheap based off of your Z energy and all that good stuff. So essentially, you could play for 1 energy, maybe a 20k double strike blocker with unique. I think those were the stuff. And it has the ability where you can auto choose one of your opponent's battle cards minus 25k from it. So it's decent, But there's like another Gohan counterplay that kind of does relatively the same thing. Then there's, what's his name? Vegeta. There's the Vegeta counterplay that you can play and essentially board wipe your opponent's board on their turn minus 20k or 25k, something like that. I think it's minus 20k. There's that Broly, where if you play him, he gets triple strike. He's a 4-drop. You play him, he's 25k. He becomes triple strike, and he could board wipe minus 25k to every battle card. So it's like there's just some potential. Some battle cards you play them, board wipe, and then ideally to get rid of your opponent's battle card, right? Blockers so that you can attack, and all you have to do is worry about negates and combo power. Stopping you from dealing damage. But if you play your cards right, then you have a strategy that makes negating your attack or comboing against your attack pointless or useless. Will give you the advantage. That reminds me, man, it's so funny. Right now I'm just building strategies and stuff because I just realized there's some cards that in combination can drastically reduce your opponent's hand size when you attack, which will be very useful for helping your attacks to get through. So it's like, I guess I'll do that in Green Hat Jack. So I have some strategy for Green Hat Jack, so that'll be a deck profile eventually. Green Hat Jack. Hand control. And I could go on and for hours talking about different, card combinations and strategies and my thoughts on the game. Obviously, who wouldn't like to hear that? But this is 45 minutes already. I've talked long enough. And that's the end of this episode. More to come.